All right, I'm Carrie Davidson. I am the fitness manager for UK Health and Wellness, part of your employee benefit package. So we're going to talk about winter fitness tips today. It doesn't seem to let me advance the slide. This is part of our Work Life Rocks series, and Rocks stands for resilience, optimism, compassion, knowledge, and self-care. So we wanted to throw that up there before every Work Life Rocks presentation, just to remind you what we're here for. To lead to all that knowledge and self-care. What I'm going to talk about today are movement goals, movement at home, movement at the office, tools that you may not have thought were movement tools, but things that you can use to help you to stay active and to stay fit in this winter time when you may not be able to get outside, you may not feel comfortable going to a gym, or your gym might still be closed. So let's first of all talk about goals. Now, the American College of Sports Medicine, they put forth guidelines for cardiovascular exercise, for strength, and for flexibility and mobility. Now, those guidelines, you guys have probably heard them before. The cardio guidelines are 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise in a week. That shakes down to about 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise for 5 days. You get the same cardiovascular benefits, the same general health benefits if you do 20 minutes of vigorous activity 3 days a week. So that's the cardio. The strength training is really dependent upon your goals. So the guidelines are really generalized. It's 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, major muscle groups on at least twice a week in a week, at least 2 times in a week. And then the flexibility and mobility goals are major muscle groups, 30 seconds, 3 times through on most days of the week. So again, really, really general, but you might have a little bit more specific goal. I said, if you want to advance that slide for me, I don't seem to be able to have the ability to do that. If you want to take a look at what your specific goal is, maybe you don't have a goal already. Maybe you're thinking about that cardio recommendation from ACSM. Maybe you're thinking about that strength recommendation. I'm not here to tell you what your specific goal is. It's personal to each and every person, but I do want to tell you about some research that has come out in the last 5 to 10 years about being sedentary. All right, and this is my office chair. I got it from my office, and it's now sitting in my house because I spend the majority of my days working from home. I'm only in the office a little while. And the thing about this research is, if you sit for 23 hours a day, maybe you're 8 hours at the office or in your office chair, you're maybe 8 hours in bed asleep, maybe you're driving for 2 hours, that's a good amount of time sedentary. All right, if you're sedentary 23 hours a day, but for that last hour, you go to the gym, you work really hard, you sweat, and you whatever, you treadmill, you run, you lift, you do whatever, you still are at higher risk of morbidity and mortality. You still have greater health risks of higher triglycerides, higher blood pressure, greater increased risk for diabetes, all of those things than the people who are not that sedentary but never go to the gym. So those people, they never go to the gym, they never sweat it out, they never work really hard, but they get up and they sit down and they walk around the block and they come back, and they go to a meeting and they come back, and they pick up something heavy and they put it back down. And they're up and down, up and down, up and down, and they're constantly moving. So instead of being baseline, baseline, baseline with a 1 hour peak, baseline, baseline, the idea and the research is telling us that we are healthier and have better or lower risk if we are just active all throughout the day. So I don't know if that helps to shape your goal. Maybe you came in here with one goal, and now that you've heard this, it maybe is going to morph into something else. So I want you to keep that in mind. So what do you want to accomplish? There could be a myriad of ways to look at your fitness and health goals. Maybe you wear a device on your arm and you're counting steps. All right, I have a goal. My own personal goal is 11,000 steps a day. And for the most part, I reach that. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe you don't really care about steps. You don't wear a device and that's not really part of your thing. Maybe it's about weight. Maybe you want to lose a certain amount of weight, or maybe you want to be able to lift a certain amount of weight. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe you're training for a 5K, a marathon, and you want to get in a certain number of miles per day, or bike a certain number of miles a day, or swim a certain number of miles per day. maybe none of that really matters to you and you have a more subjective goal where you just want to get back into a certain set of clothes, or you want your clothes to fit differently, or you want your clothes to look different when you're wearing them. Again, I am not here to tell you what your specific goal should be. I gave you the guidelines, the recommendations from the American College of Sports Medicine, and those are for general health guidelines. And then I've given you the research as to what helps us to have lower mortality and lower risk of morbidity is to stay active. So you choose your goal and I will help you I will help you get there, I hope. So let's talk about getting movement at home. So I am working from home and it is a Monday, and behind these doors behind me is my laundry room. So this is how I do it. I save up all my laundry for Mondays. Now, on Mondays, I'll do all the laundry, which means I have to get up from this chair and swap the wash to the dryer and get the dryer stuff out every, 30 minutes or an hour, depending on what kind of load I'm running. So I know that every hour on a Monday, I'm always going to get up and swap that load and swap that load and swap that load and swap that load until I have all the laundry done. And then at the end, I fold it all as we go, and then I put it all away at the end. So that is one way to get more movement at home. Don't do your laundry a little bit through the week. Save it all up. Dishes are another great way to get more movement at home. So when you're unloading the dishwasher, how many of you don't have to raise your hand, I don't want to know, this is rhetorical, you get all the plates out, you stack up the plates, and then you lift them up one time. I'm not judging you. There's nothing wrong with that. That is one big heavy lift if you've got some heavy glass plates. And that's an overhead lift. That's great because, like I said at the beginning, we oftentimes don't lift our arms overhead very often in the day. That's good. However, let's think about silverware. My dishwasher is across my kitchen for my silverware drawer. Now, I could take the basket out and take it over there and stand there and unload my silverware, or I could make 1,000 trips for every fork and every spoon and every knife and every beater and everything that's going in that silverware drawer. I could make that. So if you really are stuck like we were last week with ice and snow and the gyms are closed and you can't get outside, you got to get those steps somehow. You got to move around somehow. This is a great way. Make it up, folks. Make it work. Another thing is, and I have 8 ounces on here because I like to drink out of these glass jars, and I keep this on my desk, and it's small, right? You can see that it's small, and I do that on purpose because I want to get up and go fill it up 1,000 times because I'm thirsty and I drink a lot of water. I'm going to get up and drink it. It's winter. It's dry in my house. I'm going to drink it, but I'm going to have to get up and get up and get up, which also means that I'm going to have to get up and go to the bathroom. So that's a great little trick. So you've probably seen those water bottles or like big jugs that say like, by 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, noon, like that's great. I'm not judging anybody for anything that they're doing. I'm just saying, for me, it works for me to use a smaller glass so I get up more times. When all else fails, set a timer. Every hour we want to go off. Remember, we don't want to have a flat line with a peak and a flat line. We want to be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So set a timer to go off every hour. You could do it on your phone. If you wear a device, a lot of times they'll go off every hour, or if you still have, they want you to get 250 steps every hour. So it'll buzz and say, you still have 53 more steps to get this hour. Or if you're an Apple person, you want to close the rings, or, there's a lot of sensory ways to get into our attention so that we can remember to get up and move. So if that's a bell, if that's a vibration, if that's something that comes onto your screen in front of your face, do what works for you that you're not going to ignore. Right? We become so desensitized to these things that sometimes we just ignore them. Also, the online library. So I'm going to talk to you at the end about some membership options that we have. We have an online library, if you're a MoveWell member, that you could go to on demand and pick a class: yoga, bar, HIIT, body weight, whatever. But there are a ton of online subscriptions or even just free workouts on YouTube. Be careful with YouTube. But you could do an online class, you could do an online subscription for some sort of movement class, and you can do that at home. You could do that at work if your work allowed for that. So lots of options for movement. All right, let's look at movement at work. If you want to take that slide next. So I do go into the office about 1 day a week, and my office is upstairs on a corner. And if I want to print, I have to go downstairs, down the hallway to the next building around that corner to get into a different office to get to a printer. So if I want to print, I have to really want to print. But it's a great way to get movement in because we do have to print on occasion. So it's a great way to get more steps in. It's a great way to get up and move around. Also, use the bathroom that's farthest away from your office. Don't use the one that's closest to your office. Go downstairs, go upstairs, go to the end of the hallway instead of the closest one to the hallway. Use the bathroom that's further away. It's just going to get you a little bit of extra movement. Again, you could set a timer, use your watch, use your smartphone, anything that's going to disrupt your sensory perception and sensory input to remind you to get up. One thing that I almost always do is anytime my phone rings, I stand up. Now, when I'm at home, I'll pace the length of my house while I'm on the phone. If I'm in the office, I'll pace the office. So for me, it's become a habit that every time my phone rings, I stand up and walk around while I talk on the phone. Unless I need to be looking something up, I almost always am walking when I'm on the phone. Also at UK, depending on where you work and what campus you're on and where you're located, you could park farther away. UK is so good to us to allow us to park at the stadium or on North Campus or anywhere we want out there on the periphery. They even make it a little cheaper for us to park out there on the periphery, and then we can walk into the office. So, and this doesn't have to just go for work. This could go for the grocery store. This could go for the shopping mall. Wherever it is that you're going, this could go for church. Wherever it is that you go, don't look for the closest parking place, look for the furthest parking place. Remember, we want to change our attitudes from sit, oh, 1 hour of work, sit, to movement all day long. Yes, I might have to sit in my car and drive 30 minutes, but I can park further away and walk a little bit further to get to and from my car. And again, the online library that we have that you could do any sort of subscription to, these work on demand anywhere you have an internet connection. So you could do it in the office, you could do it on your phone, you could do it anywhere. Okay, now movement tools. So remember, I asked you at the beginning to get creative and think about ways that you've gotten more movement in, maybe over the pandemic or through winter, or just in this different sort of situation that we've been living in 2021. So I want to offer you some options here for tools that you may not have thought of that could be exercise or fitness tools. So that first one, it is a kettlebell, but doesn't it look like a paint can? If you have a paint can full of paint, it weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 to 12 pounds. That's a decent amount of weight to do a workout with. And this one is shaped very much like a paint can, but it is a kettlebell. So anything that has a handle like that, you could substitute in something heavy for a kettlebell workout or a dumbbell workout. As a matter of fact, I think on our video library, I have an entire workout that I taught with a paint can because it's the only heavy thing I had when we first went into COVID lockdown. It's the only heavy thing I could find. Wrap a towel around the handle so it doesn't, eat into your hands. 11 or 12 pound kettlebell, homemade, there you go. A milk jug, that's a gallon jug. If you fill it with milk or water, it weighs about 8 or 9 pounds, depending on the kind of milk that you have. Again, you can use it like a kettlebell. And actually one of our graduate assistants made a video on how to use a laundry jug as a workout tool. And if we have some time, I'll show that to you here in a little bit. But if you could fill that with sand or rock, it's going to be even heavier than 8 or 9 pounds if you're looking to make something heavier. And if you have 2 of them, then you have 1 for each hand. Okay, a sock. I know a tube sock is probably not something that you're thinking about in your repertoire of fitness and exercise tools, but you can fill it with sand. And then it becomes a movable, pliable weight that you can use any way you want. You could fill it with flour, but then they tend to shed. Kids think that's fun, but I don't think that's fun because I have to clean it up. So fill it with sand, and then it becomes a pliable weight and acts like a sandbag. So you can do lots of things with it. Again, a laundry basket. I told you it's Monday. I'm doing my laundry behind me. That way I'm getting up about every hour to swap loads and go through the clean stuff and lay it out so it doesn't get wrinkled. But here's another trick. I can use that laundry basket for a lot of things besides laundry. Now, when I put that laundry away, it would be tempting to put all that in the basket and carry the basket around and go room to room to room. But I don't. I'll grab my daughter's stack and go upstairs. I'll grab my son's stack and go to his room. I'll grab my other daughter's stack and go back upstairs. I'll grab my towel stack and go to the bathroom. 1 stack at a time so that I'm getting more movement in. But that laundry basket, I've used it lots of different ways. When you put it on the ground, it slides easily. You can hook it to a belt and it moves even easier. You can put heavy things in the basket. I have a small child. I put him in the basket and I push him and I pull him. I bench press him and I row him. If it's not the same action, it is the same action and it's in the same plane. And he thinks that's great fun. So this is a way to get more movement in and involve your kids. They think it's lots of fun. And then the staircase. There's so many things that you can do, so many exercises that you can do with a staircase. You could use one step and use it like a good old aerobic step like we used to do back in the day, and just do up and down, up and down, up and down, step ups. You could run the whole length of the staircase. There is a video in our workout library of an entire workout using just the stairs. Actually, I think there's several on there using just the stairs. So there's lots of things you can do. If you have an open staircase like that where the spindles show, this is a great place to wrap a resistance band and do resistance band exercises. If you don't have a resistance band, try a bungee cord. I've had to do that in the past as well when I was trying to teach a workout class with a band, and oh, lo and behold, I didn't have one at home. So I grabbed a bungee cord from the car and that's what we used. So it's still providing resistance. And then your child is also a great, if you have a small child, a small grandchild, or replace the child in the picture with a small box that is heavy that you could load, or a laundry basket that has handles that you could load. These are all great things to do. Just we want to make sure that we're lifting properly. So in that left picture where it says correct, you can see she's hinged at the hips, she's bent at the knees, she's squatting down, she gets low, she gets close to the weight. And then as we pick up, we're going to keep it nice and close to the body. We're never going to bend over and load the spine. The spine isn't designed to make a load, to take a load like that. Our big femurs and our big muscles that surround the femurs and the hips, those muscles are made to take a big load. So those are the ones that we want to use. So I want you to write in the chat while we're kind of recapping that slide. I want you to write in the chat any way that you've been creative this winter or pandemic with getting more exercise or with getting movement in, and I want to take a look at those. And while you guys are doing that, I want to share my screen. Is that, can we swap and let me share screen so that I can show you this laundry jug? Thank you very much. I want to show you this. All right. Now, can you all see that YouTube screen?
Hi there, my name is Justin Gibson with UK Health and Wellness, and I'm here to show you some interesting uses for a laundry detergent bottle. hopefully that gave you a few ideas to get the creative juices flowing. Remember, you don't need the fanciest equipment to have a good workout. You can find more ideas and workouts right here on the UK Health and Wellness blog.
All right, I hope you guys could hear that okay. Now, while Lizetta goes back to our slides, I'm going to look here in the chat and see what kind of creative stuff you guys have come up with. Dancing while vacuuming. Vacuuming can be a good workout for sure. I like to dance around while I do that as well. I turn on music. Putting your bike on a trainer. Yep, that's a great idea. So for those of you who don't know, if you have a bike that you ride outside, they make a trainer, which is basically a rack for your bike where you can put it in there, put the one wheel in there, and then it becomes a stationary bike. So using a trainer for your bike. An obstacle course with your kids. Yes, also something I have done. I was just looking out here. Now that the snow is melting at my house, I can see the obstacle course that my kids have gotten set up in my backyard. Winter hiking. Yes. Flights of stairs while your coffee's brewing or while you're reheating it. That's a great idea, Francis. Walking down the road, walking in circles, morning yoga, online workouts, absolutely. All of these, absolutely. Everything is, all of those are good ideas. And so Justin alluded in the video also to our blog, which I've linked to here, and I'll give it to Azetta so she can send it out to you guys who are here today. But our blog we have posted every single weekday since COVID hit. So since March 23rd, we have posted every single day. So there's a myriad of workouts. Right now it's February, and so we are in Heart Month. So we've posted, the first week was all about accountability. The second week was all partner workouts. Third week, last week was all about heart health. And this week is all cardiovascular workouts. So about every other week is a week of workouts. So we have a ton of workouts on our blog that you can print off. You can take them with you, or you can just follow along on the blog. So I encourage you guys to go there. And then that YouTube link is the one that I just showed you of Justin, who is a graduate assistant with us and graduated using a laundry jug as a kettlebell. So these are all great options. If you want to go on to the next slide, these are all great ways to get creative. And I want you to remember that it's not about sitting, 1 hour of exercise sitting. It's really just about getting movement throughout the day. And then I've put together a parent baby workout. So this works really well if you have a small child. And if you have an older child, then maybe contact me for a consult. We can talk about ways to get your kids involved with obstacle courses or exercises or things that are a little bit more age appropriate. But this is really about the workout for the parent, and then the baby is along for the ride. Baby usually thinks it's fun. So you can hold baby close, or even wear baby to do squats, just like you would do a goblet squat. The form is the same when you would hold a child, just like you would do a bench press. So laying on your back, lifting a weight, let the baby be the weight. Make sure that you can hold the baby safely under the armpits, or maybe hips and armpits is a great way. Push-ups or knee push-ups. If baby's old enough to sit on your back safely, you could do push-ups that way. Otherwise, you could put baby face-to-face with you on the ground. And that's a way to get baby involved while you do push-ups or plank in this position or any sort of push-ups. And then moving on to the next piece of this workout, we have curtsy lunge. So we're working more glute med, more of our hips. Again, holding baby in front or wearing baby. Kettlebell swings, you saw Justin do it in the video with a laundry jug, but if you hold baby under the armpits, then you can do swings or deadlifts with baby, as long as you're holding on safely. Tricep dips, you can put baby on your lap right there on your hips and do the dips. And it's kind of a game that we used to play when my kids were little. And then the twists, again, he did it in the video, the Russian twist with the laundry jug. You can hold baby close to you, twisting back and forth. And then laying in bridge on your back, put baby on your hips, and then it's almost like a squat thrust, or it's almost like a hip thrust, where you can lift baby up as you press up into bridge. So these are just a few ideas for a parent baby workout, if that's something that you're interested in, or if your kids are maybe a little older, like I said. Maybe your next step is to get a consult. So you can go to your UK Health and Wellness dashboard. It's on our homepage. everywhere you go. Go to your dashboard, request a consult with me or Ryan. We're happy to talk about different options for you, or maybe you want to know how to use some other equipment that you have in your home. We're happy to help you figure out how to use those things. MoveWell membership options. We do have 3 options. We have our regular one that we've had for years, which is $7 a month. It's a payroll deduction option that gives you access to MoveWell at Export, MoveWell at Seton. All of our classes right now are virtual, but we have them live virtual every day at noon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8, Monday, Wednesday at 5:15. So we have several classes that are virtual live. You can interact with the instructor. And then that also gives you the library. The $5 a month virtual membership is just virtual only, so you don't have access to the facilities. This is great for people who maybe don't live near Lexington, but this gives you access to the virtual classes that are live where you can interact with the instructor. This gives you access to the library that I was talking about on demand. You can do an online training session with one of our trainers, and of course the blogs out there too. And then we also have an all access membership in partnership with Campus Recreation and the Student Wellness Group for $20 a month, which includes everything on campus. So Johnson Center, alumni, MoveWell at Export, MoveWell at Seton, all of our classes, all of their classes, our library, their library. So it's an all-encompassing, all-inclusive, all-access fitness membership. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and feel free to unmute yourself or type those in the chat, and I'll take a look at those. But I just want to remind you that the key to staying active and healthy and to decreasing risk is to not sit and then work out really hard one time. I'm a fan of working out really hard. You should do that. However, remember, it's about getting up and moving around as often as you can and reducing your sedentary time. So yes, I sit in my chair, but yes, I also get up and do my laundry or set an alarm to go off or get up and move around. So remember about those things that might work for you. Again, whatever is a trigger. So one of the triggers for me is every time my phone rings, I stand up. It's automatic now. I stand up, I walk around. So what questions do you guys have? Let's see if you guys have any of those going in the chat right now. And then remember, resilient optimism leads to compassion, knowledge, and self-care. That is that UK ROCKS acronym that we went over at the beginning.